Hey, 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 Vikas here again, your wisdom coach, coming to you with another dose of wisdom to keep you steady and stable as we go through the storms of life. The world has changed forever. It's never going to go back to being exactly what it was earlier, before this COVID crisis happened. And it's really amazing. I was doing some numbers the other day because I like to do these things, I like to know. And the first COVID case, which was diagnosed, was on the 10th of December, 2019. That's why it has the 19 designation after COVID, right? COVID-19, coronavirus disease 19 in 2019. Well, anyway, the first case happened on the 10th of December, and then it took about 3 months plus for the infections to reach to 500,000, 500,000 infections. 3 months and a bit. And then in 7 days after that, it doubled from 500,000 to over 1 million. So this is a very powerful event. It's a evolutionary event. You have heard me say that over and over again. And I'll promise you the world is never going to be what it was before. The world has changed forever. And it reminded me of an amazing story. In fact, something that happened in my real life, of course. You know me, I made a beautiful story out of it. So last year, beginning of last year, Sally and I were in Japan, in Fukuoka, Japan. And we really were enjoying the place. We were there for work. We had been invited by TEDx, and Sally was giving a TEDx talk at that point of time, and I followed that TEDx talk. So we had, after the event, after the TEDx was over, we had a couple of days free, so we spent time in Fukuoka City. And by the way, if you haven't seen those TEDx talks, you have to see those TEDx talks. So please go to our YouTube channel and watch the two TEDx talks, Sally's TEDx talk and Vikas's TEDx talk. And which one do you think is better, by the way? Without fail, Sally's is better. So watch Sally's talk first and then watch Vikas's talk. So anyway, back to the story. We were there for 2 days and we had some time and we were enjoying ourselves. And I was loving that whole culture and the food, and I was trying the ramen and everything else. And then one of the things we did is we went into one of their national parks, a massive park. We went to see a castle, and after that we went to see the park. And as part of this park, because you know how the Japanese do the parks, they're really beautiful and they're really finely, the manicured parks, right? In the middle of this Japanese park, there was a beautiful, beautiful Zen garden. And Zen gardens are literally created with a lot of attention, a lot of patience, a lot of mindfulness. And everything is in straight lines and everything is done very nicely with a lot of awareness into it. So it's an act of love, it's an act of meditation, it's an act of personal growth while the person is building that garden. And there were some little plants there, there were lots of stones there, there was a lot of earth there, and everything had been arranged down to the T. Everything was just perfect, and it was a thing of beauty. So I stepped back and I was looking at this beautiful Zen garden and just thinking to myself, my God, how much time, how much attention, how much effort it would have taken to build that. And while I was in awe, while I was in that space of like, wow, what an amazing sight this is. And a very interesting thing happened. I noticed some movement from the corner of my eye, and as I looked over, I saw a cat there. And a cat was standing at the edge of the Zen garden. And she was looking at me because I was standing at one edge looking at this garden. She was standing at the other edge, she was looking at me. And then, after that, what she did? She looked at me for a moment, and then very nicely, as cats do, like she was a model on a catwalk, on a ramp, she walked straight in the middle of that Zen garden, very peacefully, very calmly, as if she owned the whole space, because that's what cats are like. And she walked right through in front of me, across the whole Zen garden, and she spoiled it all. But you know what she was actually doing, and that was the lesson that I took away. I was standing there looking at something that man had made. Beautiful, no doubt. Amazing, astounding, no doubt. But it was not nature, it was not natural, it was man made. We had controlled that nature, we had controlled that space and that beauty and that originality and turned it into something that we found beautiful. And it was almost in that moment as if the cat looked at me for a moment and said, you know what, you all need to remember a nice lesson. And the nice lesson is this. And then she walked straight across, destroying the beauty in just a minute, in 1 minute, destroying that entire perfection of that Zen garden and bringing nature back. Because once that perfection is gone, guess what? Nature is back, because nature in its imperfection is perfection. So it was almost as if nature had come in and said, look, you as mankind can do whatever it is you want and create whatever it is you want, what you think is right. But you know what? Me, nature, can come in 1 minute and poof, take it all away. And for me, that was a real wake-up call. I just stood there stunned. And in that space of, inner wisdom, in that space of inner connection, I was just going like, oh my God, oh wow, wow, wow. I was in that space of wow, oh, what a big, big, big lesson. And since that moment has always stayed in my mind, and Fukuoka became very special for me. And of course, the ramen was amazing. So the lesson here today is this, all right? The world has changed forever. We created a certain world order. We created a certain economic process, an economic way of life, and it's changed forever. We created certain social norms. They're gone forever. It's never going to be the same. But here's the good part of it, right? Because I'm coming from a place of wisdom, the wow mindset, the wow lifestyle. Wow is way of wisdom. The wow mindset says that the disruption is a fact, but suffering is an option. Remember this line. Disruption that's happening now, this disruption is a fact. And it happened not because of you or I or anyone else we know. It happened because of much bigger forces. The disruption is a fact, but the suffering is an option. Do we suffer? That's an option. And it's up to us on how we take this. Now, listen, if we don't have the tools, yes, we do suffer. Recently, there was a news, and I'm sure you heard it, about a German minister, economic minister, handling the finances of his own state within Germany. And he committed suicide, killed himself. Very, very capable person, very able person. Part of many teams, a leader of some teams, and everyone who spoke about him said he was a great person. And he had just had a meeting with some of the big companies of his own state, and then the next thing you know, he's killed himself because he was overwhelmed. He went into that low space of low energy, low illumination. He went into that darkness, and he did not know how to come out of this crisis. The disruption caused a lot of inner suffering, and the suffering led to the actions that he took, and he changed his life. So I want you to know that the disruption is real, the disruption is a fact, but the suffering that follows, the suffering is always an option. And we have an option not to suffer. How can we not suffer? Well, we keep focused, we keep grounded, we keep anchored to the wisdom. Last time I told you that when you have to hibernate, make sure you meditate. I hope you have taken action on that and you're practicing some form of meditation or another, because I put together a program which everybody can access, right? So I hope you're doing that. If you have learned meditation from me in the past, fantastic. It's time to utilize that now. And so many of you reached out and also thanked me for everything that you have learned in SoulCentre or through me or my online programs or one of my events over the past many years. And it really touches my heart, because this is the purpose of my life, to give wisdom to people so that their lives can become happy and successful and fulfilled. Because the old world is gone, a new world is coming. And a new world, because we will get out of this. This will end, and there are brighter days ahead, but the new world is going to be a different world. And the new world is going to be seeking, it'll be hungry, it'll be looking for good leadership. And this is the time for you to invest in yourself, in your personal growth. It's the time for you to invest in your future. It's the time for you to become a leader. And from the next video onwards, I'm going to introduce this concept for you. What do you need to be in the future so that you can have a life that is going to be bigger, better, and brighter than the past? What do you need to be? And I believe this 100%, that every one of us needs to be in a position of leadership. Okay, and I'll explain what true leadership is. In fact, I'm going to introduce a beautiful concept that I have been developing over the last 20 years, all right? Because it's been in my mind, it's been percolating in my mind, it's been growing in my mind, and I've been writing that down, and I've created this entire blueprint of how to be a soul-centered leadership. How to be a soul-centered leader so that you can provide that leadership for the world that's coming. And every one of us needs to do that. If you're a mother, you need to be a leader. If you're a husband, you need to be a leader. If you're a CEO, you need to be a leader. And if you're just a middle management manager, let's say, you need to be a leader. Every person needs, you're a shop owner, you need to be a leader. Doesn't matter who you are, at what level of work and society you are, or what role you play in your family, you need to be a leader in the future, in the world that's coming. And I'll explain about what it means to be a soul-centered leader and what kind of leadership we are here to provide. Because believe me, that's the only way that we are going to build a future that is bright, a future that is bigger and better and brighter than the past. Because the old world is gone, it's never coming back. It's time for a new world, and a new world demands new leadership. A new world demands that we become new people. Right? Same body, new people, a new mindset, a new wisdom, and a new way of life. That's what we have to get ready for. Because I believe me, why, with due respect, why did that German minister commit suicide? I don't know the details of his life or the problem, because we all have problems, and I'm sure the problems are massive problems. But isn't it true to say that there are others in the world who had bigger problems than that German minister? He was the minister of a state. They're presidents of countries. They're presidents of companies which are bigger than his state, right? So everyone's got problems to a certain degree. It's how we manage them. And sometimes the virus is not just out there. The virus is in here. And when it gets in here, then everything breaks down, right? Everything gets infected. So we have to come into this new mindset. We have to come into this new way of life. We have to come into the new way of leadership, the soul-centered leader, someone, man or woman, who is going to define what the future will be for themselves and for everyone around them. And perhaps for companies and countries and communities. Because we need to change as a whole. I hope you have noticed that in this entire COVID experience, right? 3.5, 4 months now. Started in December, we are in April. And they're saying it's going to continue for another month or two at least, right? So this entire period, the temples, the churches, the mosques, the synagogues, all the places of religion didn't save a single person. In fact, the priests and the imams and the rabbis, they also got infected, right? The armies didn't save a single person, right? They couldn't defend us against this virus. The people who stepped up were the health workers, the first responders, the emergency workers, right? These are the people who are defining what life is becoming, who lives, who doesn't. It's not the military might of a country that is in question now. It is the community might of a country that really is being brought forth. So it's a whole new world. It'll never go back to being an old world. You will have to be a new person. Please take me seriously on this, all right? My purpose here is to get you ready to be the best expression of yourself in a world that has changed. And I'm here to support you all the way. But the first thing I need from you before we can walk this journey together is your desire, is your willingness, is your openness. Then put out your hand and hold my hand, and we'll walk together as a metaphor into your future. make it a brighter one, a bigger one. We owe it to our life to be the best that we can be. The old world is gone. The old me has to be gone. We have to think with a new mindset. We have to be new people as we walk into a new future, and we have to create it. And I'm here for you. We are here for you. The world that's coming needs you to be a soul-centered leader. You need to take that position of leadership. Get ready for it. I'm here to support you all the way. More in our next episodes. So I hope you've enjoyed this one. Reach out to me and let me know what you think. Just reply back to this email. Remember to take advantage of this time. Invest in yourself. Meditate. Grow your mind. Grow your life. Grow your future. Get ready for the world that's coming. Get ready for being a soul-centered leader. Wisdom is the stabilizer of life. Make wisdom your foundation and let's build our future on it. Because wisdom always wins. Bye now.